Hello and welcome. Today is Thursday, May 21st, and I thought I would give you a quick tour of my garden. I wanted to do that of my spring or my cool crop garden before I get my summer vegetables planted, which it's definitely time for that. The temperatures have been above 50 Fahrenheit or 10 Celsius, except for, of course, last night and then tonight are going to be in the 40s, but I've had my warm crop plants outside hardening off for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And I was a little unsure last night how they would do, but they are doing fine. I do have them kind of sheltered and protected. So yeah, let's take a tour of my garden. Okay, this area is not actually part of my food garden, but I am going to be cleaning this up a little bit more. We had landscape fabric under here, but it's useless now. So I'm going to rip that all out. And then I basically want to fill this all in with stuff that will just spread and fill it all in. So there won't be all the weeds and everything. And I won't have to really take care of it too much. And then the lovely pond here, I gotta clean this guy out again. There's a gigantic maple tree, and then we have our crabapple tree that we're shedding their flower petals and maple keys. So, and I need to get some pond plants for that actually to help keep the algae down. And then I got my bee balm back here. Oh, and I got some little sunflower seeds growing back here. I wasn't sure if the birds will eat them all up or not. Got my strawberries, which they are now growing strawberries on them, so I have them protected because the birds and squirrels are loving this area. A little butterfly bush. And then the bird bath area, I need to clean that up still, but I got some flowers in here, my alyssum. I started off with some violas here, and I will replace those with marigolds shortly. But there's not very much soil in those cracks. But they actually do surprisingly well. And then here I've got my peas growing. They actually have some flowers. That's exciting. And then in the front here, I've got some nasturtiums. I planted those by seeds. And then I got my alyssum. Those were, of course, indoors that I grew and transplanted. I also have an onion plant in there. And then, so in the front row here, in this section, I'm going to have the nasturtiums in the front, all the way down there. And then I have it set up so it'll have, I'm going to put basil here in that empty spot. Then I have my section here with my onion surrounded with some alyssum. Then I have another herb. I've got my parsley. Basically, that's what I'm going to do is a herb, and then I'm going to do like either onion or leek. This one's my leek. And then with alyssum around it. And then I got thyme. There's another onion. I got oregano. Another leek. There's going to be another basil plant. And then there's onion. And I have some carrot plants that I planted seeds in the fall. And they survived over the winter. They're growing quite beautifully. The middle section, I'm going to be putting my tomatoes and whole beans. And then in the very back, there's going to be, well, there's some calendula growing. And then I also planted zinnia seeds. And of course, there's plenty of other things just randomly growing in here. I got kale that's randomly growing. Yep, so that. And then there's some dill. I did plant some dill seeds in here as well. Yep, so it's this section. And then back there, between the stone wall and the fence, there's some catnip growing. Yeah, I got another bird bath. Got a little my herb patch back there, which I'm probably going to divide that up and spread herbs through the garden a little bit more. But there's some sage, thyme, chives, oregano. I got more peas, and I also planted radishes. And then in the back, we had a groundhog coming through there last year, so I put a bunch of rocks, and then I just put a little bit of soil so I could have something looking pretty. And then I got my swarm trap. There's actually in the neighborhood, like a road over and a few roads back, there's a neighbor that actually has bees. Like they have like 5 or 6 hives. So you never know, you might decide to swarm and that can provide a home for them. Got my garlic, some more radishes. Of course, the birds and squirrels are digging around in here. I got this Swiss chard is from last year. I moved it from that section and actually was out of the ground for a couple of weeks and I noticed it was still alive, so I decided to plant them. And I'll let them go to seed. I got some parsley. I also moved all of this kale in this back section here. There's Russian red and then this other, I don't know, curly kale or whatever that one is that you normally see at the store. I moved them over there. They're going to go to seed as well. We got some spinach. And I had a bunch of alyssum flowers, so I just kind of spread them randomly in the garden. Got some hostas and sedums coming up. Lots of mint back there. I even have some stinging nettle growing in, which I'm going to just let that stay because it's actually super healthy. And I want to dry it for tea. And then back here I got my celery, which I did celery and then onion. I did that every other celery and onion in that section. And there's my daffodils spread throughout it. And more alyssum. And then a random, I don't know, is that broccoli? That just grew up by itself. I also have a little lettuce plant back there that grew up by itself. Okay, and now this is my green section. So I've got some kale, which the larger kale plants are the ones that I grew inside my house and planted out here. And then I planted a bunch of little seeds everywhere. And then over here, I'm not sure what that is. I got my Swiss chard, and then got more Swiss chard back here, and then my lettuce section. I planted all of those by seed. And then here's some more lettuce. Oh, and parsley. Not sure what that is. It was in a green mix that I planted. That's pak choy. And then I got more lettuce. And then these are my experiment seeds. I'm not sure what they are. That's more garlic. And then over here, I have a nice big dandelion patch, which I'm going to harvest that. Now this is my kale that is flowering. I'm going to let it go to seed. And I bought it last year. It was a random purple one. I wasn't sure what it was, but I thought it was pretty and I definitely wanted to have some more. So it's flowering beautifully and hopefully I'll have lots of seeds. And I have that planted all the way over here, away from the other kale over there, because I don't want it to cross-pollinate. Oh man, the squirrels or birds are digging up my bean seeds. I have planted rattlesnake beans over here. I'm definitely, oh, those pesky little animals. I'm going to have to get something to put there to protect it. That's for sure. And then let's see over here we have, oh yes, my rosemary plant. This one I had growing inside the house. And then over here we have the cucumber patch, and I'm hoping these toilet paper rolls will protect them from the squirrels and the birds. And oh yeah, and then here, oh, I see actually there's some little tiny plantain growing there. I wasn't able to see it in my yard, but I'm happy there's some growing in the garden. Okay, over here is my asparagus patch, and back there is just, there's a little tiny bit of asparagus growing actually. I did have a couple little rows I planted last year, but I also put in a bunch of seeds earlier in the spring, so maybe some of those are growing. But that area is protected so the squirrels and birds don't dig them up. And then here's my patch. I started the front part, I think about 5 years ago. Now here we have some more carrot. Oh no, somebody dug that guy up. Ugh, I'll bring it in the house so it's not wasted. But I got carrots, yep, my little alyssum. And these are black raspberries. I planted them in here last year. They're actually doing really amazing. And oh, they're starting to flower. That's so exciting. And yeah, so they're doing really good. I got some violas. These guys actually grew up from seeds from last year. I planted in the fall. And they did start sprouting, and they were tiny little plants. And then they survived. I got some another little baby black raspberry plant growing. And then radishes, carrots. Over here I'm starting a new strawberry patch. Unfortunately, the squirrels or birds dug up 4 of my plants, so I had to put some things around here to hopefully protect these other ones. I'm hoping that it'll be able to end up spreading. I did put cardboard down to kill the grass, and then I have some straw over top of it, and then I just put little holes for my strawberry plants. And these guys are just little tiny babies, but I'm hoping they'll be able to grow pretty good over the summer. And then these ones are a little bit bigger, I got from friends. And there's the holes for these other ones. Back there, I want to put some more raspberry. Either black raspberry, or I'm thinking maybe of experimenting with yellow. This is a Sensation lilac, which I love the color of this. The purple with the white outline. It's so beautiful. Yeah, and then this here's my compost bin. And then I'm going to do another compost bin over here, hopefully, once that one is full. And then here I have my rain barrel. And yeah, so this is it. This is my spring garden, and it's going pretty well so far. And I can't wait until I can get the rest of my plants in here and growing. But yeah, thank you for joining me on my tour, and I hope to see you again. Bye.